Hello friends and welcome to StudyIQ. I am Joycey Joy and today in this lecture we will discuss about the slowdown in manufacturing activity in India. First of all, coming to the current affair. The latest manufacturing data and the inflation data shows that the manufacturing activity in the country is very dull. So based on the data on inflation and manufacturing, we will discuss what is the reason for manufacturing slowdown in the country, what are the factors for that, and also we will discuss what is the way ahead. So before we begin, this is our channel StudyIQ and we are providing pen drive courses for various competitive examinations including SSC bank courses, UPSC optionals, SSC JE courses, teaching examinations, railway examinations, defense examinations, RBI grade B, NABARD grade A, UGC NET, UPSC Civil Services Examination, CLAT exams for various state PSCs and also for various professional courses. You can visit our website www.studyiq.com for more details, or you can call to any of these numbers for more information. So let us begin. Let us first understand what is the present status of industrial production in India. So in the beginning itself, we have said that two major factors contributing towards a manufacturing slowdown in the country. One is inflation rates and the second one is decrease in manufacturing activity. Now, according to the latest Index of Industrial Production or the IIP data, which shows output across broad sectors, the output expansion or increase in manufacturing in the month of January 2019 is only 1.3%. So IIP or Index of Industrial Production is a monthly publication. So in the month of Jan 2019, the output expansion or increase in manufacturing was only 1.9%. But in the previous month, December 2018, it was 3%. Now comparing it with January 2018, that is before a year, it was 8.7%. So 1 year before, that is in Jan 2018, the expansion or growth in manufacturing output was 8.7%. But in Jan 2019, it decreased to 1.3%, and also from December 2018 of 3%, it has come down. So it clearly shows that there is a loss of momentum in the manufacturing sector or in the output expansion in the economy. So the factor contributing towards shrinking or declining output expansion or manufacturing is that the production in 12 out of 23 industry groups shrank from a year earlier. So there are 23 major industrial groups that comprises the manufacturing sector or the manufacturing activities in the economy. And out of this 23, almost in 12 groups or industries, the production or the output has come down significantly. Now we will analyze what are the worrying trends or what are the factors behind this output decline. So first factor is job creation. Now if we look at the job creation or employment growth in an economy, we will be able to analyze what is the rate of output growth or output expansion. This is because when the employment generation in the economy increases, it means that there is an increase in the output generated. So, or we can put it the other way, when output expands or increases, there will be more employment or jobs created in the economy. Now coming to job creating industries, the major job creating industries in the economy are the textiles industry, the leather industry, pharmaceuticals, rubber industry, plastic products, motor vehicles, etc. So these are the major job creating industries. It means they employ a huge number of employees. So if we look into the growth of this job creating industries, we will see there are contractions or there is an output contraction or lesser or decreasing output. So this is an unhealthy sign for a real economy. This is because it will not only impact the output, but it will also impact the employment generation or job creation in the economy. Now this is the condition with job creating industries. Now coming to capital goods industries. In the month of January 2019, the rate of growth in the capital goods industries is merely 3.2%. But in the previous year, that is in Jan 2018, it was 12.4%. So capital goods industry also plays a very important major role in the economy. Now coming to the third factor, that is consumption. When the output is less, it means the supply is less. So when supply comes down and when aggregate demand remains high, there is a chance of inflation. Inflation means increase in the price of commodities. So in the time of inflation, prices will go up, therefore demand will come down. So ultimately, contraction in the output will affect the consumption patterns of the economy. So it will bring down the aggregate demand, and when aggregate demand comes down, this will have a negative impact on the economy. Now, as we discussed in the beginning, first factor to be considered is contraction in the manufacturing output. Second factor to be considered is the inflation rates. So now we will discuss about inflation and how it has impacted manufacturing output. Inflation is measured in terms of CPI or the Consumer Price Index. Now the CPI or the Consumer Price Index has accelerated or increased to a 4-month high of 2.57% in the month of February 2019. But what is the problem here? In case of food commodities, there is a persistent deflationary trend. So we can say that generally the consumer price index or the CPI has accelerated in February 2019, but in case of food commodities alone, or we can say agri-inflation. So inflation or increase in the price of food commodities is called agri-inflation. So with regard to agri-inflation, what has happened? There is a deflationary trend. That means there is a reduction in the prices of food commodities. So we call it as deflation. So this condition is unfavorable for the economy because Indian economy is highly dependent on agricultural sector. Agricultural sector employs more than 50% of the total workforce in the country, and Indian economy is majorly agrarian in nature. So generally inflation rates are high or has increased or accelerated, but food inflation or agriflation has come down. This is an alarming situation because the impact of which will be visible in the rural economy or in the agricultural economy. So we'll come to the details of it. For example, the vegetables, the fruits, pulses, etc. has posted a negative rates of inflation, like 7% deflation for vegetables, 4% for fruits, and in case of pulses 3%. So we will analyze what are the benefits and the limitations of a deflation in agricultural sector or food inflation. So coming to the urban consumers who are majorly engaged in the secondary sector and in the tertiary sector, that is manufacturing sector and also in the services sector, which constitute a major chunk of the urban population, they will be highly benefited out of a deflation in food commodities because they will be getting these food commodities from the market at cheaper rates. So food commodities become affordable for them. Now coming to the rural population, which is primarily dependent on the agricultural sector or the primary sector of the Indian economy, they will not get better prices for their produce or the agricultural commodities. So there is lesser price discovery for their commodities, and also their demand will come down because they do not have better incomes. So with lesser incomes, they will have lesser aggregate demand. So it will impact the rural demand for manufactured goods. So this is the impact it will make on manufactured goods. So when you have lesser income, your spending also comes down. When you have high income, your spending will go up. Therefore, the aggregate demand will increase. Now, in case of the rural economy, now they have lesser income because there is a food deflation. So in food deflation, the prices of food commodities are less. So the farmer or the producer in the rural economy is getting lesser prices for their commodity. Now they have lesser income. So they have lesser spending capacity and they will have lesser demand. So their demand on manufacturing commodities will come down, and this will have a negative impact on the manufacturing sector. When the demand comes down, the prices will come down and also the supply will shrink. Now coming to the future picture. Saudi Arabia, a major importer of oil and fuel to India, has committed to deepening its production cuts. So if there is an oil production cut, it will increase the prices of oil. So as an impact of this, what will happen? The cost of production will go up. Now, an increase in the cost of production will impact all the sectors which is dependent on oil as a raw material or as a input. The agricultural sector is dependent on oil, the manufacturing sector is dependent, and also the services sector. So it clearly means that there will be an impact on agricultural, manufacturing and services sector. So there will be an inflation. So this is the first challenge for India. Secondly, the general elections are approaching, and now there is a general tendency that the political parties will increase their spending. So as the spending increases, it will increase demand pull inflation. So in the first case, we have seen a cost push inflation, and along with this increased spending will create a demand pull inflation in the economy. Now both this has culminated into a twin challenge. Like on one hand, the growth is slowing down, or there is an output cut in the manufacturing sector, or output has come down. So there is a lesser economic growth, but at the same time the inflation levels, even though it is increasing, it is within the limits. We have seen the rate of inflation is around 2.8%. So what RBI has targeted is 2 to 4% of inflation. So even when there is a rise in inflation, it is within the limits of the inflation targeting. So the Monetary Policy Committee may decide on an interest rate cut. So interest rate cut essentially happens when the inflation rates are within the control. So interest rates are primarily determined on the basis of inflation rates in the economy. When there is high rate of inflation, it means that there is more money supply in the economy. Therefore, there will be a rise in the interest rate in order to bring down the money supply. So exactly opposite happens when inflation levels are less. So when inflation levels are less, it means there is lesser money supply, and RBI or the Monetary Policy Committee will try to increase the money supply by reducing the interest rates. So now we have seen that the inflation rates are within the limits, within 2 to 6%. So there is a chance for further reduction in the interest rate by the Monetary Policy Committee. So this is the future picture. Now we will have to look at the MPC meeting, which will happen very soon. What MPC is going to decide on the interest rates. You can find the PDF of this lecture on my Facebook page, and for any queries regarding your preparations, you can get in touch with me on my Facebook page, or you can email me at joyce.studyiq@gmail.com. Thank you.